There we go.
Hi, I'm William Carter. This is my dad, Bill Carter. And Dad started the international dealership when, Pop?
It was the tail end of 52 and first 53, I think.
And what'd you sell?
We sold international. And we sold Pontiac automobiles.
And international trucks.
And international trucks, yes.
You know, when Dad first started, he would always tell me that he would trade for tractors and they'd have steel wheels on them. We never sold any with steel wheels, right, Pop?
We traded for mules mostly when we first got in business, because when you would sell a Cub or Super A, the man had been farming with mules. So we traded for a good many mules and had to keep them on the barn behind the dealership.
That's it. And you know, Pop's 91, so he was in the business. We sold our dealership back in 14, so he was in it roughly 63 years. And it's been fun. You know, the thing is, it wasn't a job for us. We had a good time. We met a lot of good people, and it was a lot of fun. Now, you know, I always told him this, he tells me so many of these stories, but back when you sold probably the first cotton picker anywhere around, didn't you?
I think it was the first one in Monroe County. And they didn't come assembled. They went a crate. You had to put them together. And I will tell you something kind of funny on that. We had, of course, we knew the cotton pickers because we had assembled them and worked so hard with them. So when we got to the field, we knew what we were doing. But I had a customer that I had sold a cotton picker to, that he just felt like that he would be more comfortable having talked to a company man. So anyhow, we got that international, called them, and they were going to send a man down there. And we were in the field with the customer when they got there. And anyhow, it was a boy that later, I think, went to work with International Harvester in South America. He was a real smart boy. And I met him out there, and I had the customer with me. And we talked a little bit, and I just was telling him, he did an absolute great job of charming the customer. The customer thought that he was just the last word in cotton pickers. And anyhow, then when we got ready to go to the picker that they were picking in the field, and they pulled up and stopped, and we started around on the other side of the picker, and he turned, grabbed me by the arm and said, "Bill, you got to lead me through this thing. Says this first damn one I've ever been in the field with." But he did the job. He sold the customer.
And back in the first international pickup you bought was a 100, wasn't it?
Yes.
And it came. You bought it from who now?
Huh?
You bought it from the International Harvester. He was sales rep, wasn't he?
Yeah. No.
El Monroe.
Drove it. Yes.
You know, that's pretty good to remember somebody's name. And I didn't think he knew exactly what he's talking about, but I happened to find our old invoices from way back, and I was flipping through it, and I came up on this truck that he had bought, and it had El Monroe, and he knew exactly. And we sold that truck the other day. It's been with us in the early 50s, right, Pop?
Yeah. They had a big metal box in the back that the traveler could keep his goods in, keep his clothes. And the only thing about it, when they went to a good motel, they would make them park their pickup in the back. But
and I still got the box. There's a big metal box. It's probably what, a 4x5 box, about 3 feet tall. I got horse feet in it now. So, but we've had a good ride, and we sold a lot of tractors, met a lot of good people, and what else can we say, Papa?
I reckon I had a real good educational background for the tractor business. I had a BA with a major in chemistry and a minor in biology, and I had never, been in the actual farm bit. My daddy was a country doctor, and we had several farms, but all of our farmers were farming with mules back then. Yes.
And what was it, you went to a sales meeting one time, and they were putting it on telling people how to sell. And what was it? What was the key to selling? And a guy called on you by mistake, and you said it was desperation or what now?
Desperation and panic.
Panic makes a good salesman. And the guy said, "You don't count. You must be the dealer." He said, "Yes, I am."
Oh, that was at a meeting.
Yeah.
That was a Pontiac meeting. They had a big sales meeting for dealers. Actually, it was for dealer sales managers. But I was small enough, I didn't have a sales manager, so they told me to come on. And it was one of these big meeting halls with 3 double doors, you know. And I got there a little bit late, and I went up. There wasn't a place to sit, except the elevator up to the front. And the man did an excellent job of putting on how do you motivate sales, some with money, some with prestige, some will give them titles, some you give an office, and then without any, he hadn't ever mentioned anything to me. Then he just wheeled and pointed directly at me, said, "What are the greatest motivators?" I looked him straight in the eye and I said, "Desperation and panic." It almost looked like it derailed me. He said, "You must be the dealer." I said, "Yes, I am." He said, "You don't count," went to somebody else.
And we sold International until about, what, 80? The last tractors we sold with International was a 5288, or right in that area. And we got out of that, and then we had another line, and we just kept going, and we retired in 2014. Yeah. So he did it, I think, right at 62 years, and I did it right at 40. And you know, the funniest thing was, one day I asked him, I said, "Hey, Papa, why are we killing ourselves?" He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, I don't have any kids. My brother's not even married. Who are we going to give all this crap to?" And he thought a minute. He said, "We may not go." And you know, we could have sold out several times, but we didn't want to sell out to people that we didn't know. Because you know, when you have customers for 60-something years, you want them to be treated right, because they're family members. And so these people came and asked us, and we sold out. And you know, the thing is, Dad and I could never go anywhere together. One of us had to be at that shop. And now, when we sold out, first trip we made was we went to Cheyenne, Wyoming, to the frontier dates. We bought a camper. So we went all out through Oklahoma, Kansas, all out through there, came back through Nebraska. We stopped at the Nebraska test site. They have a museum there. Daddy knew more about the tractors than they did. And
some of the equipment that they had in their museum, they didn't have all of it. I had seen the other.
And you know, the thing that's remarkable, Pop, like I say, he's 91 years old. And his mind is way sharper than mine. I don't know if that's saying a lot, but he's way sharper than I am, and we've had a good time.
Great. You know, to show you it wasn't all gravy to start off with. We started off with virtually nothing. And my wife and I lived there in Monroe. It was tight. And one day she came to me and told me, she says, "We're going to have to move." And I said, "Baby, why?" She says, "Well, I found a house across the street that I can save $10 a month on the rent." So we moved to save $10. Yes.
And then he won't tell you the other thing. The other thing was, when he married my mother, she had a brand new automobile. They sold that automobile and put it in the dealership to make payroll and keep it going. Wasn't that right?
Yeah, and she had a job at the bank.
Yeah. So it's you know, one of the funniest things were Pop's cheap. I mean, that's all there is to it. He's cheap. And one day he came home with a car for Mama to drive, and I looked in the floorboard, and there was a daggum tree growing up through the floorboard.
A mimosa tree.
A mimosa tree growing up through the floorboard. But you know, unfortunately, he grew up in the Depression. And I mean, you had to save money. And you know, everybody thinks when you're in business it's a gravy train. It's not. Because just because you make money one month don't mean you're gonna make money the next month. You better take that first money and pay off the bills the next month. But it's been a good living for us. We've had a good time. We've met a lot of people.
That's true.
Got enough, Pop?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I'll tell you one little amusing incident when we were servicing pickers. We had one that was giving us a little trouble, and we had a service manager that went with us. He was with International Harvester, and he always wore just regular jumpsuits, you know. And if he was really getting involved in a job, he'd chew tobacco. And he didn't know that he was down working on the picker and real concentrating on it. He didn't know our customer had walked up behind him. And he wheeled and spat his tobacco. Hit him right in the bib overalls. And then he didn't miss a beat. He jumped up and looked at the gentleman and says, "Gentlemen, do you want me to apologize before you kick my butt or afterwards?" The man just busted out laughing. Yes. So it's been a good time.
We had a guy one time came in, told Daddy it was what was it? Tried had a corn puller on it. Was it an M? And it wouldn't pull.
Oh.
And the man says, "You got to rebuild. Need my engine rebuilt." They rebuilt the engine and took it back down there. And what was it?
Well, after a few days, he came to me and told me, says, "Bill, says, I hate to complain, but says you're gonna have to lick your cat over again." I said, "Well, what's the trouble?" See, when he brought the tractor to me, he didn't tell us that it wouldn't pull. He just said I wanted it overhauled. And anyhow, when I had noticed it was on butane, a lot of our customers were changing gasoline tractors over to butane then, and we'd had a little trouble. We didn't put the butane company. But anyhow, when I got to talking to him and finally he told me, said it won't pull. Well, I knew I was in trouble. So I went down there and got the tractor and brought it to the shop. And I had a shop foreman that was most innovative. And we took all the carburetors off that butane and put gasoline ones back on it. And then we had my shop foreman sat up on the hood with a gas can. And anyhow, we went back down to the farmer's place, and he told us, says it's too wet for us to pick corn. I told him, I said, well, we're not worried about it, being wet. We just want to see if this tractor is going to pull right. And we went out and hooked it to the corn picker. And that old 400, it was a 400, it was pulling so hard it was putting fire out of the exhaust. And the wagon was bogging to the axle, but it was not weakening. We were pulling it. And when we got to the end of the road and stopped and turned around, I looked at the customer, I said, will it pull? He says, it certainly will. So that was it. It saved us from having to do a motor job over again when it didn't need it.
Is that it?
That's it. I don't know. We were in.
Thank you very much for having us.